Hello, everybody. I'm Overhaul, and today we're talking about Fire Force, Chapter 252. The usual disclaimer at the beginning of my videos. I'm not a kid specific channel, although the topics I discuss might look like they're for kids. It's very likely that I will either start talking about things that are too mature, use words that are not for kids, or just in general describe things that are not for kids, which, depending on how you view this chapter, it's definitely not for kids. And if you say it is for kids, I'll be like, what kind of a childhood did you have? So yeah, let's begin with the review. So we start this chapter with Hinoa basically just blasting as many shots at Charon as he possibly can. And Hinoa states you must have a limit to how much heat you can absorb. Which is definitely true, since although he did manage to send a nuke out, he clearly was tired and exhausted afterwards. Like, it's not like he has an infinite amount. It's like one of those abilities where there seems to be no, like, repercussion. That he literally will send it all. Like, he does have a limit. And Charon even agrees to it. Like, he says that, yeah, I'm at my limit. Like, this is about as much as I can do. So, yeah. So, yeah. This is. We see a couple of other characters right now. Like, we see Vulcan calling for. Well, yeah, light. Was it leaked or light? Uh, Calling for Vulcan to respond, and Obi being like, "What's the status? What's going on inside?" Because again, they don't know Giovanni possessed our Inferno view, and is currently opening the switch. By the way, we're not getting any updates on that. This is like purely a flashback episode chapter for Charon. So yeah. Now we see well, Hinoa is still shooting him. John does the whole, oh, it's useless, it's done, we won, it's time for our observation, and all that type of stuff. Which, considering no spoilers for the chapter that came out this week, will come out this week, but let's just say that unless it was misdirection by Okubo, let's just say it's very likely that what Charon is saying is true. So yeah, we see Charon. We go into the past and see Charon's backstory, or not backstory, more like the story between him and Haumea. And we see him walking in one of the nethers with a light. Yeah, those old-fashioned lights you use. I believe they are called lanterns. I believe they are called. And you see him just walking and looking and calling for Haumea to show herself. And he, after he calls last time he calls her, says that how I leave my eyes off you for 1 second, you run off. We see Haumea when she's younger. I'm guessing by the design it looks like to be somewhere around the age where Shu was taken. It's still unclear. In fact, there's another point of evidence that suggests this is possibly beforehand, or maybe right after. Again, unclear. But we see Haumea crying, and Chan goes to look to see what's wrong with her. Is she doing well? And Haumea is, as it was revealed, I believe a couple of chapters back. I believe it was right after Shu and Aoi left, actually. We see her going through. We see her screaming and hearing all the voices of all the evil deeds people have. That whole reason why they want to destroy the planet. She screams and is in pain, and Chan doesn't want to help, but the only way Haumea can respond is by hitting him. And now Chan's actually like, alright, the pain that we're talking about collective unconscious humanity, if it's getting her feel so much pain that can let her be beat me up. So that's what happened. Charon just like sits down, I guess gives the lantern to Homea, or I believe, or did she take it beforehand? I'm not sure. And just she starts to beat Charon with it. And the thing is, unlike when it comes to fights, Charon doesn't use his ability against Homea. Like those hits pretty much do hit. Like when Charon gets hit by the lantern, it is like being hit by a lantern. So yeah, Charon gets every one of those hits on him. There's no like blocking. So yeah, after what could very well be hours of just being beaten the hell up by Homea, Charon finally takes her to her room and puts her to bed, and I guess this is the first time that she doesn't have that crown fin on her head, which granted we still don't see her face. It's questionable if we're gonna ever get to her face reveal, since some characters who hide their faces are usually are sometimes not fully revealed. So yeah, we see how. So yeah, we see an Arrow, young Arrow. Finally, Rasgal shows up and does something in the story again, and asks what were those nasty injuries. And again, it's really hard to tell how old or how far back this is, because Charon mentions in this conversation at the end of it, if you ever become a guardian, you will understand. So this either she was just brought to the White Clad, or Arrow or Shu isn't in the White Clad yet. It's unclear. I feel like we're gonna get the explanation of it later on. Since I'm alright, the basic storytelling is saying, how did Shu and Arrow meet? Why was she picked to be the guardian? Like, this isn't the first time this happened, so I'm guessing we're gonna see soon. But anyways, back to the conversation. Now, since Arrow is, not even a doll at this point, I believe she would be around. Well, if we go by that, let's assume that Shu was 3 years old. Then this means that Arrow would be, I believe, 13 right now, since I do believe there's only like a 10-year gap between the two. If I believe they even have month on the same month. I mean, they are both December. Both born in December. So, yeah. Arrow is like very, you would say, unprofessional, and more like, hey, Charon, did you let Homea hit you again? Aren't you supposed to be the protector, the main shield of the White Clad? Why are you letting this? Are you stupid? Like, she doesn't say something like that, but it's very like, it's supposed to show how very unmature and how, like, the contrast between, I would say, a guardian before they become a guardian and afterwards. Because right now in the story, I can honestly see she do whatever he wants to Arrow, even if it's, violent. And she will take it no problem. But in this time, she doesn't really understand it. And Charon even states that the pain that she feels from the collective unconsciousness is so great that even if I just get hit by a lamp, even if it's just like a fracture of the pain, I would still take it. And of course, Arrow finds it ridiculous, but what can you do? But again, it's immaturity, and it right after that, it's stated, his response is basically, if you become a guardian, you'll understand. Which he does, I guess. So, yeah. Now, Arrow mentions something that you would think that someone who seeing the collective unconsciousness would not be able to handle it. And Sean pretty much does agree with Arrow, like, it's a lot. In fact, the only reason why Homea is able to handle it is because of this, I guess, holiness of her, like, the worst that she can get is joy and excitement from wickedness evil. Like, all the time we've seen Homea do something that's only really there to help in the chaotic evil thing, like the whole nuke as previously mentioned, with the sixth pillar. It was purely because it's basically the only way how she can process the collective unconsciousness of it. So yeah, that's I guess the explanation. That does make it more logical why she was acting the way she was, since I mean just with the way how she treats Charon and Arrow. Like the two can literally say the most logical questions, and she'll literally respond in the most violent way imaginable. John asks, "Hey, was the first bill hit? Was it through your darling?" And just start beating him up. It Eros reminds her of the Guardian system. Do whatever you can. Seriously, I know you can technically say it's her torturing Arrow, but honestly, I find the sexual assault a little more likely with Tomea. I could imagine it, which is fine considering the fact that she's 17 and Arrow's 24, but nah. It's the white guy, let's not question it. So yeah. We have So yeah, basically, like Homea is one of the sole exceptions. Like maybe you could say that the pillars are like the only people who can actually deal with it. Like if any average person would get it, would probably just die, or just go into a complete hospital, unable to do anything. So yeah. Now we cut. I'm guessing around 10 years into the future after this conversation between Charon and Arrow. We see how Hamea currently looks. I'm guessing that she's 17, and we have one White Clan member. It's hard to tell if it's a random White Clan or is it Arrow because the face is covered. So I'm guessing it's going to have to be a random White Clan member because, well, it's Arrow, show her face. Also, the thoughts that go through Hamea's mind are probably go through the White Clan members' mind are would probably not be Arrow. I feel like Arrow's thoughts would be like, why am I still with you? Or would you go away already? So yeah, we basically see Arrow. So yeah, this White Clan also mentions that it's a mass that they should be heading there, and she sees what's in his mind, and he's kind of like scared, intrigued, and quite a few things come across his mind. In fact, we even see what his direct thoughts are. It's like, wow, she has suddenly grown into one beautiful woman. I wonder what's underneath that helmet, which is something I feel like a lot of people would question. And I know this kind of raises a question: Do the white clad men have dirty thoughts on women? But I feel like it's just like what standard kind of thought is going to be. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, from what we've seen, she is quite beautiful when she doesn't have those sadistic faces on. And I guess the whole always wearing a crown does kind of raise the question in what the hell is under there. Since, every other member doesn't really have any problems revealing their faces. I mean, sure, Ritsu has her eyes covered, but most other members pretty much have it. Hell, Dragon doesn't even have anything that could cover it, even temporary. Or shouldn't. Inko also doesn't. Like, a lot of members don't even have something to cover their hands. And it's really only just like to complete the look, to not have any resemblance. So, yeah, it is kind of curious why does Hamea what looks underneath Hamea's helmet. So, yeah. Then after the mass, I guess, we get to her in her room, where she gonna gets all those evil, wicked thoughts from her. Well, maybe not from her directly, but we get like her listening to evil laughter, which does make me wonder if that might be because of the white clad that they live in, since, I mean, look, I don't wanna assume anything, but the white clad do seem to be comprised of a lot of evil people. I mean, Giovanni is a perfect example. So I'm not exactly sure if those thoughts are directly from everyone in the world, or if those could just be from the white clad. I mean, maybe the answer, after the explanation that Charon gave, a lot of people were like, just kill Haumea, that will stop her suffering. But I'm starting to wonder if the easiest solution would just be take her away from the white clan and put her in a place that It's surrounded by normal people. Like that would be fun. That would literally just be all that's needed. So yeah. Now Charon shows up and tells her to calm down since Hamea is starting to laugh crazily. And we even see her punch Charon again. So I'm guessing that maybe Hamea has one of those moments every time or often where she just starts laughing or just reacting crazy, like she's not no one's around or something, and she just needs to have someone to beat up. So yeah, after I'm guessing she beat up Charon for a while, we see Charon sitting there and Hamea laying on the ground next to him. And Hamea, after she comes down, I guess a little bit more, she's asked Charon, how does he view her? Since everyone else, I'm guessing there's not much variety in what other people view her as. I mean, maybe like I'm guessing the characters like Arrow and Ritsu might have different opinions of her, but I'm guessing most people have the same opinion about her, and maybe Shu. So yeah, it's, she asks Charon, and he's like, I never thought of this. So hey, you can read my mind. Why don't you tell me? And the thoughts that come from Charon are unconditional love, which is, I'm guessing, supposed to basically be how a relationship between a brother, big brother to a little sister, or older sibling in general, and a parent would be. Which means Charon is not a simp. Like, he doesn't want anything. Hell, if you really think about it, Charon was basically growing next up to her. Why the heck would he want anything in that level? Seriously, that would just be weird. Seriously. Seriously. It's always weird when people who grow up one another all the time and they are technically not siblings, they end up romantically involved. That feels weird and creepy. So, yeah. And honestly, makes me kind of question the sanity of the writer sometimes. But then again, this is Japan manga, and there are a lot of stories that make me question the writer's sanity, or I guess sexual preferences. So yeah, we see Charon. So after that, hearing that, which I guess is like one of the few good bits the people she has, and that's most likely because again I don't see that many variety in thoughts people have on Hamea. And she just kind of turns around and goes to sleep. And John doesn't even ask a bit more. He just kind of like just lets it be. I guess if something she wanted to tell him, she would. Again, the guys are very like it's clear who has the pants in a relationship between guardians and the and pillars. Like I would say something, but I know that they're still gonna follow through to whatever the pillars say. So and this is where we end the flashback, and we basically come back to the real continuity, and we basically have John say, "It's over, Fire Force Company 8. You've lost. The salvation is over. We've won." And while John is saying that, we see Haumea in the door, which is interesting that even though we see Haumea in the door, it's very different than how when Shinra was. Like when Shinra was in a door, he seemed to have been laying there completely in black. I'm not going racial. I mean, it's just black as the color in the manga. And I'm being like, where am I? But now we see Haumea, and she's on her knees, looking at her usual desire and screaming, Charon, no! So yeah, she did. So this is confirmed that Hamea did have a certain like feeling towards Charon. What it was, it's unclear. I'm guessing again, kind of like the brother sister thing, which I think most people would go with. So yeah. And we get this like in the final panel is well the final chat page is like really good because we see Charon screaming, Charon no, because he's basically at Dab's door. But we see Charon's and his covering for eyes burn away, which we see which honestly just seems like what most people would assume Charon's face to look like, except the fact that his body is going to be bursting with heat. Like his clothes are getting burning away. I believe he's even a bit bigger, and we see like nothing in his eyes. Like it generally looks like an infernal if you look at it, like a more between an infernal human and a humanoid and a regular human. That's how Charon right now looks like. He's completely bursting with flame. In the middle we see this like very beautiful spread where we see I believe two moons covered in circles, one being black, being completely black, again color in the manga, and this giant what looks like an eyeball, which again I'm not gonna spoil anything, but let's just say it's explain what that thing is. So yeah, we get this like gorgeous shot. So yeah, this chapter, as you might have guessed by my summary, was more like was not really a progression chapter. It's more like a backstory chapter. It's so by the degree, it's a pretty good chapter. Like I feel like most of us could kind of assume this was gonna the things people were going off with between Charon and Hamea, but it's nice to get closer to it. And also, I feel like this was supposed to like be the confirmation that yeah, Charon may be more in line with the good guys, but that doesn't mean he's gonna switch sides because he legitimately thinks it would be best just kill humanity to save Haumea for the good sake of Haumea. That's how I think this was supposed to be more and to give us more idea what their relationship was. So in that degree, it was a great and an amazing Charon chapter, and I honestly kind of want to know how it would look like in anime formats. It's probably gonna be a cover on a volume, but yeah, it was a really good chapter. I mean, it wasn't a groundbreaking chapter. It wasn't something like All for One's master scheme to break into Tartarus. I guess people are really hyped about the newest chapter of Black Clover, since the previous couple ones were shit, or at least not all that amazing. Unless if you're a big fan of giving Clover Kingdom some insane power-ups. But let's just say the most recent chapter of Black Clover, and I guess the most recent chapter of One Piece as well. But yeah. But it's a pretty good chapter, needless to say. So yeah, no, this was my opinions on this chapter. Tell me your opinions down in the comments below, and I hope you like this video. I hope you share it and subscribe to it. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all people next time. Bye.